In a world that seems always to be in motion, constantly tugging at us with demands, desires, and distractions, patience may feel like an old-fashioned virtue, something obsolete in the race to keep up with modern life. Yet patience is not only a virtue, it is a profound strength, a source of inner power that can help us master our minds and, ultimately, improve our mental health. Embracing patience allows us to step off the frantic merry-go-round of instant gratification and enter a place of stillness, where we are no longer at the mercy of external events but rather grounded in a self-determined state of calm, resilience, and clarity. The Stoic philosophers, known for their teachings on self-discipline, inner strength, and rationality, held patience as one of their core practices. To the Stoics, patience was not just the act of waiting, it was the capacity to endure life's trials with calm and unwavering resolve, to hold fast to our values without surrendering to frustration, anger, or fear. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." Aurelius reminds us that our suffering often stems not from events themselves but from our reactions to them. By exercising patience, we can gain control over our reactions, resisting the urge to be consumed by destructive emotions. Patience, then, is not simply waiting. It is a form of inner mastery. It is the quiet yet resolute strength that helps us resist the pull of immediate gratification, the impulse to react, the need to control what we cannot. Patience allows us to breathe deeply and pause before we act, giving us the space to assess our options with wisdom rather than impulse. This form of self-control is central to Stoicism, which teaches that our ultimate freedom lies in how we respond to life's challenges. When we practice patience, we are actively choosing not to let external events dictate our internal state. Why does patience have such a profound impact on mental health? The answer lies in the nature of our emotions. Without patience, we are easily swept away by anxiety, anger, and fear, allowing these emotions to take control of us. In this reactive state, our minds become clouded, our reasoning compromised, and we often make decisions that later lead to regret. Epictetus, a Greek Stoic philosopher, argued, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Patience grants us the ability to step back from our reactions, to pause long enough to consider a more thoughtful response, one that aligns with our values rather than our impulses. Through patience, we gain clarity. And with clarity, we can see beyond the intensity of our emotions and recognize that anger, fear, and frustration are fleeting. They pass, like storms, and we do not need to be their captives. One of the greatest misconceptions about patience is that it is a passive or weak stance, that it means simply enduring in silence. On the contrary, patience requires immense strength and discipline. It is an active resistance, a deliberate refusal to be overcome by external pressures. To practice patience is to exercise resilience, to build a mind that can withstand adversity without succumbing to despair or bitterness. Seneca, another renowned Stoic, noted, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Patience in this sense is an opportunity, a chance to prove ourselves, to grow stronger, to transform frustration into understanding and irritation into compassion. It is through patience that we cultivate resilience, that we strengthen our capacity to face life's difficulties without losing our peace of mind. Imagine, for a moment, a calm sea. Even when the winds pick up, causing the surface to ripple and churn, the depths remain still and unmoved. This is what we strive for in our minds. A stillness that persists beneath the surface, a center that remains unshaken no matter the turbulence above. Through patience, we build this inner stillness, this depth of character that can withstand life's tempests. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy, In moments of frustration or provocation, it is easy to respond in kind, to react with anger to anger, with pettiness to pettiness. But when we are patient, we rise above such impulses. We do not allow others' behavior to dictate our own. We choose to remain calm, to act with integrity and restraint. In doing so, we protect our mental health, keeping our minds free from the poisons of resentment and revenge. The Stoics teach us that patience is not merely a response to frustration. It is a philosophy of life, a way of being that brings us closer to peace, wisdom, and self-mastery. To be patient is to embrace life's imperfections, to accept that not all things are within our control, and to find contentment in doing our best with what we have. It is to recognize that the mind is like a muscle, and patience is the exercise that strengthens it. With each act of patience, we become more resilient, more compassionate, more capable of handling adversity without losing our equilibrium. But patience is not something we simply have. It is something we cultivate. It is a skill we develop through practice, much like any other discipline. Just as a musician practices scales to master an instrument, we must practice patience to master our emotions. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How often do we allow our minds to run ahead, to worry about things that have not happened, to fret over things that are out of our hands? Patience teaches us to let go of these imagined fears, to return our focus to the present moment, to trust that we can handle whatever comes our way. Through patience, we learn to quiet the mind, to calm the restless thoughts that so often lead to anxiety and distress. Imagine, too, the power of patience in our relationships. When we are patient with others, we create space for understanding, empathy, and compassion. We allow people to be human, to make mistakes, to grow. In turn, this patience fosters a deep sense of connection and trust, creating bonds that are resilient and enduring. Just as we must learn to be patient with ourselves, forgiving our own flaws and failures, so too must we extend this patience to others. For it is through patience that we build a world grounded in respect and kindness, a world where we are not so quick to judge, to criticize, to assume the worst. The path of patience is not an easy one. It is a path that requires us to confront our own impatience, our own impulses, and to cultivate the discipline to hold back, to breathe, to wait. But it is a path that leads to profound transformation. When we choose patience, we choose peace over conflict, clarity over confusion, and compassion over resentment. We choose to be the calm in the storm, the steady flame that does not waver in the wind. Consider, if you will, the analogy of a candle. In a dark room, the flickering flame casts shadows that seem to dance wildly, creating the illusion of chaos. But when the flame is steady, the shadows are still, and there is peace. Patience is the steady flame within us, the light that dispels the shadows of anxiety and unrest. It is the quiet strength that allows us to face life's challenges without fear, to hold our ground when everything around us is in turmoil. In cultivating patience, we become the architects of our own minds, shaping them not according to the world's chaos, but according to our own values and principles. We must remember, as Epictetus taught, that no man is free who is not master of himself. Patience is the foundation of this mastery. It is the ability to wait, to endure, to stand firm without being shaken by the pressures of life. Through patience, we find freedom from the tyranny of our own emotions, from the impulses that so often lead us astray. We become free to choose our path, to act in alignment with our true selves, rather than being pulled in every direction by fleeting desires and fears. And so, let us embark on this journey together, with a shared commitment to cultivate patience in our lives. Let us practice patience in moments of frustration, in times of waiting, in our relationships with others and with ourselves. Let us recognize that each act of patience brings us closer to inner peace, to mental clarity, to a mind that is resilient and free. For in patience, We find the strength to endure, the wisdom to understand, and the courage to face life with an open heart. This is the way of the Stoics, the way of those who seek not just to endure life, but to master it. Through patience, we become the calm within the storm, the light in the darkness, the steady flame that cannot be extinguished. And in this, we find true peace, true strength, and true freedom.